What's up, ladies and gents? This is KSigKid coming at you with another Destiny video. Today, it's weekly reset day yet again. That means we've got to go to the tower, we've got to check out the vendors and see what god tier weapons there are. Hopefully we've got some, or maybe we'll just have some really good rolls. I don't know until we get in there. Last week was amazing. I bought 2 or 3 different weapons, and I'm hoping that we've got some more of the same. Let's go ahead and start off with New Monarchy. Just like previous weeks, what we're going to do is we're going to showcase the weapons that are god tier or really good or that I think you might like, and then we're going to gloss over the other ones. For New Monarchy, there are 2 options this week. The Impeacher 5 is basically perfect. If you like this style of sidearm, pick this one up. You're not going to go wrong. You've got Snapshot, you've got Hand Loaded for extra range, and then you've also got Rangefinder. This is basically perfect for sidearm. Go ahead and pick it up if you don't have a sidearm that you already like. The only other weapon that I really like from New Monarchy would be this sniper rifle. And please, don't take this impact class of sniper rifle into PvE, don't do it. But if you don't mind it in PvP, this one's not bad. Ambush and Taxis, those were really popular scopes back in year 1. Also, losing the aim assist on Ambush, you could get it back with Hidden Hand right over here. In the first column, you've also got Quick Draw, which you're absolutely going to need. And then in the middle column, this is kind of a throwaway. I'd probably pick Triple Tap. You don't really want to lower your magazine, so we'll have Quick Draw, Triple Tap, and then Hidden Hand, and then Ambush or Taxis, whichever you prefer. For the rest of the weapons though, we're definitely going to pass. The Assembly 2, this auto rifle is never going to make the cut. Its stats are simply too low. It's never going to get enough stability to make it worth your while. Same, we're moving on to the hand cannon, and this thing just doesn't have enough range. It's not going to have enough range where you don't have to worry about that damage fall off. We're going to pass on by the free will and move on next to the shotgun. Yes, the shotgun does have crowd control, which is certainly a nice perk in PvE or PvP, but it has no full auto. You're not going to want to use this thing. You've definitely got a better full auto shotgun, or at least you should. Finally, the heavy machine gun was kind of okay. I was debating about this for a little while, but in the end, I decided to pass. It starts off well. High caliber rounds is really nice. Then we've got perfect balance for extra stability without a cost. But then it kind of just finishes off with Eye of the Storm, and it really doesn't make me jump up and down for it, so I'm going to say pass on by that. New Monarchy doesn't exactly have the greatest of weapons, but this sidearm, this is pretty much perfect. Pretty much everything was really good for the Crucible Quartermaster. This week, not so much. There are a couple really great weapons. I'm going to start off here with the Event Horizon. So why do I like this? It's kind of a combo of a PvP or PvE style weapon. We've got Hidden Hand, that is great. We've got Short Gaze, that's great. You can look at the other scopes, but chances are you're going to pick Short Gaze. In the beginning column, these 2 aren't the best things in the world, though I would absolutely pick Underdog over Perfectionist, for sure. And in the middle column, this is what makes it versatile. So in PvP, you've got Quick Draw. In PvE, you've got Casket Mag. I would pick this sucker up. I kind of wish it was solar for those people that might have wanted to use this for the Black Spindle mission, but still, it's going to give you 4 in the magazine all the time with a great impact class. So just kind of a little bit of a better version of the Ex Machina. I like this sucker. I might end up picking it up myself. So what else do I like? I really like the Fusion Rifle. Each new day is looking good. We've got Hot Swap, we've got Brace Frame for near max stability, then we've got Hip Fire or Life Support if you happen to feel lucky. So each new day is looking really good. I also, of course, like the sidearm. The sidearm is coming in hot, as are pretty much all sidearms. It's really difficult to get a terrible roll on a sidearm. This would try, but it does have Feeding Frenzy. Feeding Frenzy is really nice on a sidearm. Then we've got Snapshot and Rangefinder. That's going to work out really well for you. There are 2 other weapons that I thought were pretty decent. Curtain Call, pretty solid. If you don't have that Void full auto shotgun, maybe pick this up. Vault of Glass is coming up next week, so this isn't a bad option at all for that. And then finally, I kind of like this Chaotic Neutral. Something about it just looks pretty decent. So you've got crowd control, you could go for more stability, but I really like Quick Draw on my heavy machine guns. I feel that they just respond a little bit better. Now this first column I'm not a big fan of, though I do know people really like take and eat. I just don't crouch enough. But overall this is a pretty solid weapon. The rest of the items though, I'm gonna pass. I mean, I guess we'll start with the rocket launcher, because this rocket launcher isn't terrible. Maybe you might want to have it for PvE, but I don't really think you need it. I'm more of a fan of grenades and horseshoes anyway, whether it's in PvP or PvE. This thing isn't bad. I just think you probably already have some better rocket launchers. The rest of the stuff though, it's just going to be a pass for sure. I'm not even going to bother with this other stuff. Yes, focus fire going to make you fire even slower, and you could lower your magazine size, but why would you want to do that? Unless you have glass half full, which we didn't really have there. And this party favor, no thank you. I thought at first we might get a lucky party favor, but both of these columns lower your magazine, which is already pitifully low, so pass on by that one. This hero formula, it looks kind of decent. The problem is, last week he sold a hero formula that I am absolutely in love with. It had explosive rounds and Firefly, and I realized that that extra bonus from explosive rounds on PvE style enemies is really, really helpful. So the fact that this one doesn't have it makes me want to pass on by this. I really hoped you picked up the hero formula from last week. That sucker is so much fun in PvE. And surprise, surprise, the palindrome is not a god tier. How often does that happen? Not very often. The range perk does not give you max range, so pass by the palindrome. Do we have any other weapons? Nope, it looks like we got all of these, so let's move on to the Vanguard Quartermaster. Moving on to the Vanguard Quartermaster, we've got a couple things. We're going to start off with the Parthian shot. Now I know a lot of people are absolutely going for this gun, and I can't really blame them. The only thing I would say is I really like the one that I have with counterbalance and rodeo, but outlaw and counterbalance, that works just fine. That works just fine. Definitely another version of a god tier weapon, whichever you prefer. And then in the middle column, brace frame for all that stability, or go for rifled barrel. This is going to be a really good gun. This gun hits like a truck. I also kind of like the sidearm. Yet again, whenever we look at the sidearm, it's almost like it's just a clone. Snapshot, rangefinder, feeding frenzy, it's all pretty much a clone. The sidearm works really well, and I asked for it last week and we got it this week. We got an Occam's Razor with full auto. Now I need to check my personal vault, because I think I have a shotgun that's got this rate of fire in impact class, and I just want to see how it ends up comparing. I don't have it on me to compare right now, but if you kind of want to play around with this, this looks like it's going to be a fun gun. That's pretty much all the stuff that I'm really a big fan of. This Angel's Advocate isn't that bad. It's got Firefly, perfect balance, but I really like the Angel's Advocate that we had last week. That just synergized really, really well for PvP. The rest of the stuff is going to be a pass. Yes, this Continental also does have some synergy. So why am I not a huge fan? Because I like the base Continental better, rather than going with small bore and focus fire and then glass half full. I just like its regular auto rifle rate of fire to begin with. Moving on to the hand cannon, that's going to be a pass. We're not going to use this sucker. Just pass right on by this thing. You're not going to want it. I don't want it. This fusion rifle, I'm really not a big fan of it, but if for some reason you want to try out a fusion rifle all about range, you could try it out, though I don't think you're going to have great success. I do not think you're going to have great success with it. So save your legendary marks for something else. Definitely don't spend them on this. This is just junk upon junk. Not only is the impact class bad, it doesn't even have that crazy PvP style roll that you might want to utilize. Last two weapons we've got are the Bone Crusher, which I'm typically a fan of, but I don't want to ever lower this magazine size, and I don't want to make this weapon slower than it already is to just kind of lug around. So we're going to pass by the Bone Crusher. And finally, we've got the Rocket Launcher, the disassembly required. You could get some mileage out of this, grenades and horseshoes, quick draw, or more importantly, javelin, but I really think it falls apart here in that first column, and then that's about it. So Vanguard Quartermaster, definitely that Parthian shot is really nice. We've got our full auto Occam's Razor and sidearms 4 days, as usual. Moving on to Dead Orbit, there are two weapons I really like. The Fusion Rifle Worlds to Come looks amazing. You've got rangefinder, perfect balance, and that is easily enough stability for you. That's going to help you out big time. And then you've also got Snapshot. So I'm a big fan of this. I think this could certainly put in some work, unless they nerf fusion rifles again. The second weapon I really like is the Keystone yet again. This is pretty much just a workhorse style of weapon. You've got hidden hand, camera forged, or you're probably going to pick outlaw, and then extended mag or quick draw. Now extended mag is going to boost that magazine size up to a whopping 18. For reference, the Vision of Confluence has 19 in the mag, and this is a much bigger impact style of scout rifle, so that's pretty big and pretty awesome. The rest of the weapons, we're going to pretty much pass. Extremophiles is always going to be good because this weapon is just a solid workhorse style of weapon, but the roll isn't really god tier that's making me just jump up and down, so that's why I'm not really recommending it. And the rest of the stuff, yeah, we're going to definitely pass on by this. There was full auto last week on this. You would have picked it up last week, not this week. And then the sniper rifle, oh man, no. Just like the one we just had from the Vanguard, this one is an absolute pass. You never want to take this thing into PvE, so seeing triple tap on it, that's pretty much a waste. And then finally, the Unto Dust. Don't be fooled by this. It's got cluster bombs, it has field scout, but it does not have tripod on it. Do not be fooled by this and think it's the Axis Slayer that we had a few weeks ago. It is not. You want tripod on it to make sure you're holding the maximum amount of rockets that you can. This doesn't have it, so do not, please do not be fooled by it. So that's what we've got from Dead Orbit, Keystone solid yet again, and Worlds to Come, just a really great perfect roll. Closing out with Future War Call, there are 3 weapons I really like. We're going to showcase the Wounded Scout Rifle yet again, but it's looking really nice. Hidden Hand, Perfect Bounds, or again, Outlaw, and then high caliber rounds. That's going to put in some work in PvE for sure. This is the same impact class as the Vision of Confluence, and that works really well. It does have a lower magazine size, but high caliber rounds, really solid. So this is a really nice roll. I do like this. The other 2 weapons, well, let's get to the one that's really not a surprise at all. The Wormwood. You've seen it once, you've seen it twice, you've been killed by it 100 times. This is a really good roll. Like I said, it's really difficult to get a terrible roll on a sidearm. This one, hand-loaded, extra range, and reactive reload. Solid combination. Also, just like the Dead Orbit fusion rifle, we've got a great fusion rifle here in the Waiting. Rangefinder, perfect balance, and then you could pick between accelerated coils or keep the impact the same and just go for lightweight, which isn't going to hurt you at all. So those are the weapons I really like. The rest, it's kind of a little bit of a pass. So the Whale does have Firefly, I know people love that, but there's nothing to boost up that range. So even though you've got Firefly on in PvE, you're going to have big damage fall off, and that is just going to be a complete waste, so pass on by that one. We've got the Waltz. The Waltz starts with counterbalance, but you don't get to boost up your stability at all, unfortunately, so we're going to pass on by that as well. And finally, we've got the rocket launcher, so the Warpath is going to be a pass yet again. So overall, scout rifles, it seems like we get the best rolls on scout rifles. It seems like each and every week we've got scout rifles that are pretty awesome, and then we've got some other little surprises that are sprinkled here and there. Oh, and sidearms are always freaking good. Anyway, guys and gals, thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, smack that like button and subscribe to the channel. Check out these awesome videos. Good luck with your raids, your drops, your vendors, and I'll see you around in Destiny. #don't be fooled.